Sorry about that. I got interrupted. Anyways, the point is that my definition of justice would change at that point. With the money thing, that shit was cleared up. With my example. So that's not a big deal. I mean, I think restitution and the amount of how I think that everything was new or whatever, if I could come up with a monetary value on top of a small amount to repay me back, I think that's just. I think that's just. But if I would be making $2,000 a month and getting raped out of 1,800 of it, whether that would be child support, fucking anything, whatever. That's we're 200. I got to pay my bills and everything else, gas, everything. That's fucking with my money, and whoever's fucking with that, again, my definition changes. And if somebody's fucking with my livelihood, whether or not that's going to coincide with number 2 or number 1, just my livelihood in general, again, my definition of justice changes. Because I'm not one to be spiteful, I'm not one to be unfair. Okay? And I wouldn't really want to fuck somebody else's livelihood over. But if there was a scenario in which my livelihood was getting severely fucked over, what's a man to do? Take it lying down? I don't fucking think so. Sometimes you have to, for an end result to be in your favor. I know that firsthand. Leave it at that. But these things are double-edged swords, and more so. How are we supposed to have any of it? Like, again, let's go back to liberty, okay? Or no, you know what? Let's go on to pursuit of happiness. I think I'm done with liberty. I think we can. There's more I could say on that. Everybody want to talk about weed, especially that when they want to talk about life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. But let's go on to pursuit of happiness here. What does that mean to anybody? What does that mean to you, to me, to your neighbor, to your family? What is one's pursuit of happiness? I don't think that can be defined. But I do know that one person's happiness and their pursuit of is not the same as another person's. And what some people like to do is to take that away from others because that falls into their pursuit of their happiness. I don't understand that shit. How are you gonna say your pursuit of happiness is maybe one specific goal, and then that goal is fucking people over or something? You know what I mean? Like, and taken away from other people. That should be for everybody. My pursuit of happiness, honestly, I couldn't tell you what the fuck. I don't have happiness. I got happiness when I'm with my son. I also have a lot of stress with my son. He's 4. What do you expect? You're going to have your good times and your bad. That's life, period. The pursuit of one's happiness could be trying to get a job, having an education to do that. Now, if you're broke and poor, sometimes there are options for you. You got your Pell Grants so you can go to some school. You have, people do have generally the ability to do the things that they want. There's a lot of programs for a lot of people, almost no matter who you are. But this is where something else comes into play, and that's a thing called equality. Now, my definition of equality would be, in my opinion, the definition of equality that should be across the board, and that's literally equal whatever for everybody else. Now, that's not to say that certain types of criminals, such as like pedophiles, should be able to have the equality of marriage, such as how they passed the gay marriage thing. That's a completely different entity, and people kept saying, oh, slippery slope with gay marriage, oh boy, oh my god, America's going downhill. How does pedophilia and bestiality have anything to do with gay people? Generally, it doesn't. It's consenting adults, not kids and animals. I mean, fucking really, think about that shit. So the pursuit of my happiness, how would I go about myself being happy? Especially when, other than my son, there's not necessarily a whole lot to be happy about. I'm filled with disgust and just abhorrence to the human race as a whole. And why, you might ask, and hopefully you're not at this point, because I just fucking said everything. We can't, look, I'm not a religious person. I always say this shit all the fucking time. But every major religion, when it boils down to it, is don't be a dick to other people. Am I a dick to people? Yes. Do I do it on purpose? Not all the time. In fact, very rarely am I a dick to somebody on purpose. Now, if you would have asked me like 10 years ago, I might have had a different attitude towards it. Like, well, they're a dick to me, so fuck them, I'm going to be an even bigger dick. Well, what happens? Unless everybody's playing who's got the biggest dick game, who can fuck over who better. That's not how shit needs to go in a quote-unquote civilized society. You know what I mean? People have been living in peace way before religious stuff has come about. I have my own thoughts on that, which I'm not going to get into because I got shit to do, and that would just take way more of my time. But I don't know. I mean, I tried to continue this video as one long video, but it's obviously having to be split into two parts, which annoys me, but whatever. But I'd really like some honest feedback. I'd want to know other people's definition of justice, maybe their examples. If they see it as a double, triple, quadruple-edged sword, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, how they view that. And whether or not they think the same as me as far as it being a double-edged sword on certain things, or if disagree at all. I mean, I don't really care. This, I'm making these videos because I want to see what people think. I mean, I'm giving you what I think about stuff. So if somebody disagrees, I don't really care. I mean, I can't say I'm right and not, have a holier than thou attitude. But if somebody disagrees and it's vehemently obvious that, maybe they're like a racist or a fanatical religious zealot or somebody, I mean, come on, man, that's not your definitions of justice, life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness would be skewed, and that's like a universal thing. I think anyways. Again, these are all just my opinions. But if you want to disagree with me and be one of those types, or look, I can point out trolls. I'm not fucking stupid. I do that shit all the fucking time because it's funny. I like that. But this is like kind of, I wouldn't say it necessarily this is a serious matter, but in a sense it is. And with everything that's going on today, especially in America, I want to see other people's thoughts. I want to see other perspectives. And maybe that would give me a stronger perspective of, or a strengthening of my own perspectives, Or maybe I can see other points of views and change my perspectives. I'm totally open to that. I'm not some closed-minded asshole. I'm just a regular asshole. But it's for good reason, I think. I can't deal with stupidity. I can't... I don't know. I just can't. That's one of the biggest things that fucking irritates the shit out of me, is stupidity. Because there's a difference between ignorance and stupidity. Ignorance is not knowing, and stupidity is willful ignorance. Like, if I said something that you were ignorant of, and now you know, but you still refuse to acknowledge that, that's stupidity. And it's an epidemic. And I feel that we don't care enough about our education. We care more about, we gotta have jobs right now, and everybody's gotta have money right now, which not at all invalid. It's actually very valid. But putting education to the side for prison industrial complex, industrialized racism, military industrial complex, a bunch of other bullshit that our tax money goes to, and it's being less and less invested in education. Come on, Kansas. You know what I'm talking about. That irritates me to the core. It makes me fearful for my son's generation, even more so. But I think I'm going to stop this rant and rave right now and just ask for some feedback. I'm going to try to get this posted as soon as I can. It'll probably take a while. I'll be honest. I don't know. I'm not going to use all my data trying to upload 2 fucking videos that are long as shit. But I'll get a phone charged and some good Wi-Fi. I'll get it on there. Anyway, that's all I got. That's all I got really to say and shit. So just leave some feedback. I want to know other people's thoughts. That's the end of it. So